Hot take, we shouldn't be sharing every aspect of our lives on the internet.
Get ready with me to break up with my boyfriend of 4 years.
Something that's bothered me for a while is when people take too much of their personal lives online, airing their dirty laundry, partner shaming videos, we've all seen them, where people film their partner when their partner's done a no-no to then put it on the internet to blast them to hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, and then the person who posted it inevitably gets upset when everyone in the comments is telling them to leave their partner because often the thing their partner has done is probably not a great thing. But still, why are you doing that to someone that you have chosen to stay in a relationship with, that you love and care about? That's the automatic thing to do. I just feel like social media is kind of ruining young people's brains and how people deal with relationships and kind of ruining relationship skills, and honestly, making people kind of a bit more narcissistic, self-obsessed, less caring of other people's feelings, and more likely to see their lives as a performance, like it's a film, like they're, and the main character in a movie, and everything revolves around them in a way, and who cares how other people feel? Which takes us to a video that I've kind of wanted to talk about for a while. I was going to at one point maybe mix this into a longer video, but I thought, hey, why not? I'm just going to do, this is probably going to be a slightly shorter video talking about this and some of my thoughts on it in a more casual way. And that is the video, I think it went viral like a couple of months ago, which was the get ready with me to break up with my boyfriend. I know that's not a joke, that is a real video that this girl made, and I want to talk about this and why is doing things like this, and just in general the wider culture we have of oversharing everything, is so detrimental to people's mental health and your relationship skills and your ability to maintain a future relationship. And I kind of want to do that and touch on, and I am going to be criticising her. I don't want to be too mean or too harsh on her. I think in a way she's probably a product of the environment that she's used to, but I am also quite, disgusted sounds like a strong word, but I think it's fair. I'm kind of disgusted by the video she made. I'm kind of trying to do it. I wanted to kind of try and be nice. Nicer, not be too hard on her. But it's a pretty crazy thing that she's put out online. So with that being said, welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Galatea, and this is Acis, my dearly departed. And today we're going to be talking about the get ready with me to break up with my boyfriend video. So the thing that worries me the most, and we're going to get into the video almost straight away so that we can just talk about it, is I wonder about, I think when we view ourselves or our lives online and document it constantly through social media, and there's degrees of this that aren't as harmful, that are more, I do it to a certain extent, like I'm a content creator, there's a degree of that doesn't necessarily have to be harmful, but I think when it goes so far, when we're into territory of get ready with me to break up with my boyfriend, when we're so used to seeing our own lives through the lens of social media, when we're so used to viewing our actions and our lives and everything we do and thinking about how an audience will see that, it's got to create problems in your life in terms of authenticity, surely, and knowing who you are, and the boundaries becoming blurred of, are you doing something genuinely? Are you living your life genuinely? Or are you living it for an audience, even in your most intimate moments when you're breaking up with a partner? I don't know what it's doing to the human mind, but I'm sure we're going to find out in a couple of decades or sooner, and it's going to be interesting. And so we're going to get to this video of get ready with me to break up with my boyfriend.
Get ready with me to break up with my boyfriend of 4 years. In that sentence.
It's the first thing. I know we're just a few seconds into this video and she's started crying, broken down. We're only in the first sentence. The thing that strikes me is that even emotion isn't safe from the viewer, from social media, from posting it online. But not only is emotion not safe from it, it almost seems like that's her first instinct. I mean, I don't know, but or has become potentially people's first instinct, that when you have a strong, overwhelming emotion, your first instinct isn't to go and cry in your room and deal with it. It's to show it to an audience, to share it with an audience. And to some degree, maybe that's like a human instinct, is to share that feeling with people, but it should be the people around you. When it becomes an audience, a social media audience, a part of this online image, and you living your life always in the spotlight, I just can't imagine that's healthy. That's your first instinct when you're experiencing a difficult situation, an overwhelming emotion, is to run to the phone set up the camera and start filming. I think people should cry offline more. People should cry less online. A lot of cases, I'm honestly in general, like online crying videos, it depends. Obviously, like it depends what they are and how they are, but in most cases, I find them a bit unnecessary, and my first thought is, why are you filming this? When I see people on social media doing that. I mean, it depends, like I'm not saying in every case, but a lot of the time, I think people would benefit from just taking it offline. Go cry to your mum, you know? Go to your sister, to a friend. Odd. Oh, but we'll continue, sorry, we're just a few seconds in.
It doesn't feel real. This has been one of the hardest decisions, and it's definitely going to be one of the hardest videos I ever make. I'm scared. I'm heartbroken. I'm confused. But I know it's time. I know it's past time. And I just hope someday he's able to see that this really was in both of our best interests. I've always known this day would come.
So, the first thing I want to say, I mean, and the reason I don't want to go too hard on this girl is because I think, like, a lot of people have gone quite hard on her for this. Fairly, with good reason, because it's a kind of insane thing to post. I don't think, I mean, I don't know, like, I don't know her, obviously, but I don't think she's, like, a bad person or an evil person or, like, a malicious person. However, it's quite astonishing the lack of, like, self-absorbed is how I would say. To be so self-absorbed that you're not even thinking about how it's going to affect someone else, that before you've even told them, before you've broken up with them, you're you know, and she wouldn't have posted it before she'd broken up with him, but I hope not anyway, but that you're telling a camera that to a future audience and saying, you know, I hope one day he can see this is for both of, like, best for both of us. That's so personal and so unfair on your partner. It can only speak to, like, a level of being self-absorbed and obsessed with, like, the audience and the camera that you're just not even thinking that. I mean, that's the best interpretation of it. That's the best interpretation of her behaviour, is that it's not that she's malicious or bad, or it's just that she's so self-absorbed that it just doesn't even occur to her that that's a potentially really horrible thing to do to someone, to be talking about it. And then she goes into, like, oh, she always knew this day would come. Oh, that's fucking great. I can't even begin to say how I would feel if my partner did a video on that. Oh, and I've known this day will come for a while. I'm like, oh, did you now? But you decided to make a video and be telling the audience that before you told me. Ooh, I'd be so angry.
I've always known this day would come. I just never really knew when I would actually have the courage to do it. And today is that day. We met in college. We were dorm room neighbors. And at that time, it felt like right person, right time. Like, everything was perfect. We had routine. It was comfortable. It was convenient. It made sense. I was so in love.
Also, sorry, this is editing me just hopping in because I missed her wording there. The fact she described her relationship, even at the time, even in the early days, as, quote, comfortable and convenient, before she's even broken up with this poor guy. Oh, I feel like that there is such a thing as, like, nuance and stuff, and I think people, you know, have some leeway when they're talking about past relationships or things they did when they were younger. And it makes sense to me that people could talk about their past and be like, oh, I was silly, you know, I was in a relationship that was comfortable and convenient. Or so it's not necessarily the words themselves or people being honest that I want to have a go at her for. But the fact that she's saying that when she's still in the relationship and she's just so blasé about it, doesn't even realise how it sounds. Like, oh, in the early days, well, he was comfortable and convenient. Before she's broken up with this guy, while she's, like, it's so insulting. Like, were you ever in love with him? Are you sure?
Everything was perfect. We had routine. It was comfortable. It was convenient. It made sense. I was so in love. Really thought, this is it. I'm never gonna have to date again. Like, I found my person, found my soulmate. This is the one I'm gonna marry. But as we all know, things change. And that's our situation. I graduated college a year and a half ago. We moved out together, even though he was still in college, and was really super excited. You know, like, this is my first time out of school. I'm ready to kind of explore this life, travel, chase my dreams, getting to know myself. And somewhere in that process, I realized I was outgrowing the version of myself that existed in that relationship. It was honestly, like, so difficult. Felt myself almost having to shrink down to fit into the relationship. That's kind of when problems really started to happen. I've known in my gut that I was not in the right relationship for me for about 2 years now, but I loved him so much that I just kept thinking to myself, things will change. And I think when we hit that 4-year mark...
I can't. I'm sorry, editing me again because I missed some of her language. Talking about him like, oh, I had to shrink myself down to be in the relationship and all of this stuff. Look, I'm not saying that that couldn't be true necessarily, or that, you know, people can talk about past relationships when there's a bit of distance and it's not so insulting and fresh to be like, oh, I felt like, you know, I'd outgrown a relationship and I was shrinking myself down and blah, blah, blah. But when you're saying that, when you're still in a relationship and you're talking like you felt this way for the last 2 years and you haven't even broken up with this guy yet, and you're telling the whole world before you tell him, you might not have posted it, but you're still telling an audience everything you worked out before you've told him, and you're telling everyone that you felt like you had to shrink yourself to fit into the relationship with him, and then kind of still trying to present herself as like the good guy, but I stayed because I just loved him so much. Oh, I'm trying so hard not to call her a bitch, but seriously, like, just imagine if your partner said this about you, that they did this. How insulted would you be? Like, how upset would this make you? And they're just they're telling everyone that they shrank themselves down to be with you. Did you care about this guy at all? I always do this. I'm sorry. Anyone who's familiar with my videos will know. I always get more annoyed when I'm editing and have to interject because I hear things that I didn't first time around. And the more I'm like, this is more outrageous the more I listen to it. And this is just like, girl, sort yourself out.
I've known in my gut that I was not in the right relationship for me for about 2 years now. But I loved him so much that I just kept thinking to myself, things will change. And I think when we hit that 4-year mark...
To be in a relationship with someone for 4 years, they break up with you. And after they've broken up with you, you go online and see they've made a video. Which first of all is crazy. You break up with someone you've been with for 4 years and you've got that little level of respect for them. Or like... on consideration of like their feelings. But also, you're him, you're watching that video and she says, oh, I've known for about 2 years now it wasn't right. Why are you wasting his time then? People need to grow up. Like, I know I said I was going to be trying to be nice and not get I'm actually getting angry listening to this because I don't know if one of the problems is that people are still, I don't know how old this girl is. She's young, well, she's just out of college, so it must be like 4 years past college. I don't know what she said, but so she's, you know, she's young, but she's still an adult. And I just think that people are behaving like overgrown teenagers far too long into adulthood now and not taking responsibility and not understanding the gravity of things sometimes. Like, what is this? That you're that age and you're making... I'd expect this kind of behaviour from a 15-year-old. This is what I, just in my opinion, what I'm diagnosing her mental age to be, based off this behaviour. A 15-year-old would do this and I'm going, yeah, that sounds like this classic, frivolous, self-absorbed, selfish thing that a 15-year-old girl would do. It's not good, but it's understandable she's 15. And I hope she grows out of that because that was kind of mean and selfish. It's a kid thing to do. Why are you've gone to college. Did they teach you things there? You're a big grown-up of a big age and you're making a get ready with me to break up, which that's the other thing as well. Why are you doing it like it's an event? Get ready with me to break up with my boyfriend and I'm putting makeup on. Why even bother doing that in a way? I'm kind of like, I mean, I guess, you know, whatever. But she's invited to other people's opinions because she's filmed this and put it online.
Hi, editing me again, but I didn't actually talk about this enough. But I think it is kind of insulting that she's like putting makeup on and getting glam to break up with her boyfriend. Like, and look, again, she's put it online so people can critique her choices. Like, is there something inherently wrong if you're breaking up with someone to like do a full face of glam? I mean, I don't know. It depends on the context. It seems a little bit frivolous and weird to kind of get dressed up for it, especially when you like. There is something odd about that. Especially when, like, if you know that you're going to cry and cry it all off anyway. But fine, that in itself may be okay. But, like, doing a whole get ready with me is what is so unhinged about this. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing okay, here's my makeup, here's what I'm putting on to break up with my boyfriend. Like, that really does come across as really superficial and vain, honestly, really vain.
It comes across as so narcissistic. I'm not saying she is, I don't think she is a narcissist or anything, but like narcissistic behaviour. To film yourself getting ready and making yourself beautiful, get ready with me, my social media account, to break up, to break someone's heart. We're so lost touch with reality, with responsibility, with like, I think it's something about social media that makes us orient our mentality towards ourselves, rather than sometimes we sacrifice what we want for other people, sometimes we be responsible, sometimes we need to grow up. The caption actually just annoyed me, I just saw it then. The caption is, "This is the hardest thing I've ever done, broken heart." Making it all about her, I think that's what pisses me off, because I'm just imagining if I was the partner, they've done this, they've broken up with me. When they've been with me 4 years, they've broken up with me. They knew for 2 years that it wasn't going to work out. They told an audience before they told me. Even if they didn't post it, they're still telling a camera before they've told me. They're going into like, oh, it's not right, and I hope one day she'll see that I made the best decision for her or whatever. And then the caption is, "This is the hardest thing I've ever done, broken heart." I'd be like, bitch, you're making this all about you. I think that would be insult to injury. Broken my heart, you know, you wasted years of my life knowingly, and then it's, oh, this is so hard for me. Everything about this is posting this online for attention and validation, and I think that's why it kind of riles me up so much. There is nothing wrong with breaking up with someone. That does not make you a bad person. It does not make you evil. You know, even if they've not done anything hugely heinously wrong, if it's not working out, that's fine. There is nothing wrong with breaking up with someone. And it is also true that when you break up with someone, you are allowed to be heartbroken too. I understand that. That's not the problem. It's that she's kind of wronged someone in this way, especially by posting all this online, and is still being like, it's me, it's all about me, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. How do you think your ex-boyfriend feels right now? There's not much in it about him. It's all just very self-absorbed. It's like the most stereotypical influencer thing. Like, if this could be satire. Someone doing, get ready with me to pick up my boyfriend. Like, I can't believe that she thought this was a good idea. And it doesn't seem like it just seems like people have been so normalized to posting everything of their lives online that they don't realize how selfish they're being sometimes. And again, I don't want to be too hard on this girl, because is this, like, you can tell I'm, like, pissed off, and I think it's a really, like, shitty thing she's doing. But I think in a large way, she's a product of probably, you know, her environment and social media, and I just feel really bad for her ex-partner. Like, Jesus. Twist the knife in a bit, won't you?
And I think when we hit that 4-year mark, hit it in April, I kind of did some deep reflecting. I've been like journaling about this because it's been something that's been on my mind for quite a while now. And I noticed some repeated patterns that I was just hoping and wishing would change, but they weren't changing. And another thing I feel like I should add, I don't want to change a person to like fit with me. Like, I want to find something that's just natural. We just got to a point where we didn't really see eye to eye anymore. I realized our goals for the future didn't really align. Just certain like things that are definite deal breakers for me. And I was hoping it would change, but that was wishful thinking. I think the part that makes all of this so hard is nothing catastrophic happened. Like, there wasn't any big explosive breakup moment, no cheating, none of that. And that's somehow even more difficult to walk away from. So I packed up 4 years of my life and moved last week. Told them that it was kind of just to find myself and like self-growth, which it totally was.
There's nothing wrong with that. I understand that would be hard, that if nothing catastrophic's happened, it's just that you guys grew apart, you know, and you still have care for that person. And, you know, I understand that would be hard and everything. And her saying that she needed to move away and like reflect on things, fine. I don't know, so far, we're about halfway through, so far, how much has she spoken about him and the impact on him? And I understand that when you break up, obviously you're going to be thinking about yourself and the headspace you're in, and I know she's upset, but that added with the fact she's posted this online for like everyone to see, and there's not much said about him. You need to get, you know, I need to get my head in order, I need to do this, it's not much talked about. Like, it's all very self-centered, this whole thing. You can break up with someone without being this self-centered. I just think this is a 15-year-old, and this is my problem as well, and I want to talk about this later in the video. It's gonna harm this kind of thing and this kind of being normalized and stuff. I think it's stunting people's growth mentally, emotionally. It's harming their relationship skills. They're acting like teenagers way beyond the point where they should be. It's gonna harm her ability to find a healthy, functioning relationship in the future with this kind of behavior, because it's immature. She's not evil, she's not bad, she's just really immature. Past the point where, you know, I'd expect this from a 15-year-old. Making a stupid TikTok about a relationship at school that wasn't that serious. That was still kind of mean. It would still be kind of mean, but this is an adult woman. Like, after a 4-year, what are you doing? Put the phone down. Less things online. People should post less things online. Some things are sacred, and breakups are one of them, and private.
So I packed up 4 years of my life and moved last week. Told them that it was kind of just to find myself and like self-growth, which it totally was. But it was also to separate from the situation and give myself that clarity. Are you making the right decision? Almost immediately, I felt some sort of like peace. That distance gave me clarity that I needed. And I just had to sit down and admit to myself, this is not the love that I want to keep choosing. But moving away has been so hard. We do like our nightly FaceTime calls. I almost felt like I had to like act like everything was all fine and dandy, even though it wasn't. And I've been holding it in. Feeling like I'm living a lie like that, honestly, broke me.
I'm baffled by the fact that she is speaking these words, and they're leaving her mouth, but they're not travelling to her ear, and she's not hearing what she's saying and how it sounds. So she's moving away. They're doing weekly, doing nighttime calls, or whatever. And she said she's acting like everything's fine, and she's felt like she's been living a lie because she kind of knew she got clarity, knew she was gonna break up with him. She felt like she was living a lie, and that broke her. That's fine. I could expect that to be hard, but Again, me, I, it broke me. How do you think your ex-boyfriend's gonna react? When, because he probably would have done, when he sees this video, do you think maybe it'll break him as well? It's the complete self-absorbed nature of this, which I think the only way you could make a video like this, get ready with me to break up my boyfriend, is if you were completely self-absorbed. Nothing about him. That's the thing that's getting me. It's like, oh, it broke you, did it? It broke you to pretend to live a lie, as opposed to like, I don't know, I'd feel pretty fucking broken if I was in a relationship and then I found someone was basically pretending to keep things going, pretending to be in a relationship with me, pretending they're happy, and then I find out later, and then they're still self-absorbed and go, oh, it broke me. Well, that would break. Can you imagine how, like, the betrayal, the confusion, the heartbreak, and I'm not necessarily even judging what she did. I don't know, all the situational things around then. You would want to break up with someone by seeing them in person and having a proper conversation. I get it. It would be hard to know what to do in that situation if you're still FaceTiming them. You don't want to say it then. So I can understand. I'm not necessarily critiquing that without knowing all the details of that. But what I am critiquing is then posting that online so everyone knows it. Meanwhile, he, before he does, or even without telling him that, and then still making it all about you, rather than feeling so guilty about, God, how does he feel? I'm leading him on a merry dance. It's the complete lack of consideration for other people's feelings. And again, this is something, I think the social media world, it's like a greenhouse for narcissistic behavior. It perfectly fertilizes and makes that flourish. And I'm not saying she's a narcissist or anything, but even everyone has narcissistic traits, right? Everyone does. And social media is the perfect environment that it just fosters that and it rewards that and just makes it grow, makes you think about yourself all the time. And you see it with family vloggers as well, how they end up, posting everything about their lives online to the detriment of their children, embarrassing their children, or moments that should be sacred and personal. People have started to monetize, or even if it's not for money, if it's just for attention and validation, which it seems like what this girl's doing, if it's just for attention, they've started to market their most intimate private moments, commodify them, put them out there for something from an audience, for attention, for validation, for money, whatever it happens to be, for fame. Things like embarrassing things your children go through, your children's lives, shouldn't be vlogged all the time. Breakups shouldn't be vlogged. Something should be sacred. Call me old-fashioned, but something should be private and sacred. By sacred, I don't mean in a religious sense. I just mean this is important. This is something sacred. This is something with high emotions that means something to people involved, and it would be so disrespectful and sacrilegious in a way. And again, I'm not talking religiously, but just sacrilegious to put that out for attention, for audience consumption, for validation. It's going to fuck up people's ability to have relationship skills because it stops you thinking about what's best for the other person. It stops you being able to have those and build those relationship skills, and just gets you thinking, oh, this is content and I'm going to say how I feel and me and get ready with me to break up with my boyfriend. Gonna foster that because it's rewarding that, and rather than building the relationship skills and thinking, it fosters that kind of mentality of thinking everything's about you and not considering other people, and doing crazy things like a get ready with me to break up with my boyfriend.
As much as this breakup is going to hurt, I feel like I'm going to feel relieved. I don't have this weight on my chest anymore. It feels like my life's on pause until I get the thing done.
I'm going to feel relieved, like I don't have this weight on my chest anymore. The sentiment itself is fine. Okay, when we've got a hard thing that we're worried about doing, like a breakup or a hard conversation, obviously it feels like there's something hanging over us, and when we do it, we feel like a weight's been lifted. That's fine. However, you shouldn't this is the problem with it. It's when you publicly say that, because her boyfriend's gonna see this. And then it's the hurt on top of I will feel like a weight's been lifted when I've broken up with them. How that comes across, and it's so heartless. It's just selfish to the point you're just not thinking. And I don't think she's a bad person. I think she's just not thinking, but that's the point. In order to not think or consider the other person, you have to have reached a level of being self-absorbed. In which case, I think it's probably a good thing that she's breaking up with him, because it sounds like they're not working out, but it also sounds like she's not mature enough for a relationship, because, she's just not. It's just self-absorbed behaviour. How can you maintain a relationship when you're not grown up enough to take responsibility for things, to start, thinking about other people, to start sacrificing your needs, to be an actual grown-up with responsibilities and duties and things like that, which is adulthood.
Dragging it out is just hurting myself and him more. This is not fair to either of us. I need to do the hard thing that needs to be done. Loving someone and choosing someone are two very different things. You can love something while still realizing it is not good for you. It's just whether or not you choose to walk away. And now I'm choosing to walk away for both of our own goods. I know for a fact I'm the one that has to do it in order for it to be done, even though we both know that this has to happen.
I just keep picking up on the fact that everything, again, I know I keep saying this, I'm sorry, but everything is geared towards that. It's all at her, she's so great. She's saying that we both know we need to end, but I'm the only one who can do this thing that needs to be done. So even when you're doing something that's pretty disrespectful to your partner, you're still painting yourself as the noble one. Like, there's something kind of like, he's not going to do it. Well, I'm doing it for both of us. Breaking up with someone, I mean, I think it's kind of a morally, depends on the context, but it's neither like good nor bad. It's neither right nor wrong. You know, in certain contexts it can be, but it's just, it can be hard. But to kind of present it as this noble thing, especially when you're doing something as disrespectful as this, and I think social media doesn't help with that because it encourages us to see ourselves as the main character. It encourages us to see ourselves as, like, you know, the hero in every story, and we're always great, every single feeling we have validated, and which in some extent is good, but sometimes isn't. And I just think it's almost like I'd be so insulted. I'd be so insulted if I was a partner and they did a video like this, saying things like, oh, well, I know it has to be done. Like, as they're doing something that's actively so disrespectful to me, as they've upset me, they've kept it going on for 2 years, strung me along for 2 years, told an audience about it, disrespected me, broken my heart and disrespected me, and then they're saying, like, I'm the only one who can do this. As if, oh, I'd be so... Can you imagine how mad you'd be? Just imagine that. Hold that feeling. And again, like, she could think all those things and just not post it to an audience and not invite people to give their opinions on it, like I'm giving my opinion right now. But you've done that. You put it out publicly for validation and attention, and you're going to get people criticising. And I think, in a way, like, criticism of this kind of thing is... I don't know if I'd go so far as to say important, but maybe, or like valuable or necessary in a way, or useful, maybe not important, but maybe useful in some way, because I think behaviour like this sometimes needs to be critiqued, or at least get people thinking about it, rather than thoughtlessly going down the social media spiral and where we are the main character and everything is about us.
I just had to be honest with myself and realize we are not bringing out the best version of each other anymore. This is not really a healthy relationship anymore. Now I have to act. I am terrified to start over. I don't want to live a life out of fear. I want a deep love.
I'm sorry, but saying that you want a deep love in a video where you're telling the internet why you're breaking up with your partner is crazy disrespectful. That's another thing that's kind of like, yeah, again, you can feel that and think that, but just to tell the world that, wow, okay, you know, before you've even told him. And again, irrelevant whether she posted it before or not, still tell an audience that, like, I want a deep love. The implication being that that's not him. But also, I want you to remember that, what she says about a deep love later, because what I didn't realise as I was filming is there is a piece of the puzzle here. So when we think about deep love, just remember that might be a factor in why she broke up with this particular guy, as I find out towards the end of the video, post-filming.
Okay, so she says she wants a deep love. That's completely normal and fine and good. Pretty much everyone wants a deep love. We can also be practical though. So you want a deep love. And this is advice for everyone out there. I would be careful about dragging your ex-partners publicly online. No, this isn't her dragging them, but this is, you know, making a video about him. But I would be careful about doing disrespectful things about your exes, online or publicly, or even just like on dates if you're always slagging them off, whatever. And I'm not saying she's doing that, she's not slagging him off. But this is disrespectful and very airing dirty laundry, what she's doing. Now, I would caution people against doing that because in the future, it's going to harm your ability to get into a healthy relationship because any potential future partners, especially if they're a well-adjusted, healthy person, are probably going to look at behaviour like this and think, well, what happens if she wants to break up with me? What happens if we don't work out? What happens if this or that? Well, she's probably going to be very immature and make a video blasting like all our personal stuff online before she even has the decency to tell me. It just shows a lack of respect for her current partner, which, you know, yeah, they're breaking up. But you can still like break up with someone and move on from them while still giving them basic respect. And doing something like this, most healthy potential partners, most are going to look at this and want to run a mile. They're going to probably, like, I feel like most people discount, why wouldn't they? They'll look on it and go, oh, God, Crazy. You're the get ready with me to break up my boyfriend girl. And you know, and again, in however many years, and as she grows up and stuff, that may well not matter. People change, people grow. It doesn't matter what you do when you're younger so much when you get older. But she's talking about wanting a deep love like she wants one now. I think you need to mature quite a lot before you get to that point. Or you're going to end up, I would guess that a lot of the guys who aren't going to have a problem with this are also probably going to be a little bit emotionally immature and engage in immature behaviours and stuff like that, because they're not going to see a problem with this. So I don't know if you're going to find a deep love and healthy connection with those guys. So it's like, this is just counterproductive. And this is the kind of thing, and why I want to talk about this, because it's not just like selfish and like mean to the other person and to the people around you when you do things like this, but it harms your own like prospects. I wouldn't go as far as say it ruins your own life, but it does harm your ability to be happy in life, I think, to maintain healthy relationships. When everything is for an audience, it becomes a performance. Nothing is really like for you and just you to consider in your, you know, some things, it's okay to keep some things private, and you should. And a lot of mature people are going to want that. And wanting a deep love is, who doesn't want a deep love? I'm just not sure this is the way to go about it. And also, it's all very well to have the fantasy and the fairy tale. Again, it's quite a childish kind of perspective of the, you know, I say that, I'm a romantic at heart, okay? But there's also a practical element of it. Like, I believe in true love, yes, and I believe in, you know, the fairy tale's lovely and all of this, but there's a practical element that requires relationship skills, that requires maturity, that requires sacrifice, that requires you to be a grown-up in order to build that fairy tale relationship. It doesn't just fall out of the sky, like in a Disney movie. So I'd say don't do this if you want a deep love. Don't do this to your ex-partners, because your future partners are going to see how you treat someone when you're no longer together. Bear that in mind. Everyone should bear that in mind. Don't, you know, unless they're like done something heinous. I understand that, and if they're like a really toxic, abusive person, and you're talking publicly about that, I think that's kind of different. But if it's just like you've broken up, things didn't work out, maybe there was, you know, each person did some things that said some things they weren't proud of, or each person committed some wrongs, and it's kind of like that kind of situation, I wouldn't drag them online, because it's not going to help you in your future relationships, and it's immature as well.
Some people might be wondering, like, why are you making a video about this whole thing? I need this for my coping process, all right? My boyfriend was very private, and he kind of wanted me also to be private, which just isn't me. I'm very extroverted. I love...
Where to even start with that? That was crazy. Okay. So firstly, she says that people might ask why I'm filming this. I need this video for my coping process. No, you don't. You don't, though. If you wanted to film and like talk and see how you feel, like maybe that could be someone's version of a diary, that's fine. But you don't need to post it. This is not your coping process isn't putting it out on your TikTok for validation from loads of strangers. That's not your coping process. And if it is, it's a really unhealthy one. No, that's attention seeking. Let's be real about that. You don't make a get ready with me to break up with your boyfriend as part of your healing process, or your coping process. And she followed that up with saying, my boyfriend always wanted me to be private. My boyfriend's a very private person. He always wanted me to be private, and that wasn't me. The disrespect has taken on another level now. So she's saying her boyfriend's private person, and he wants her to be private as well. And in a final act of total disrespect and disregard for his feelings, she's decided to tell the internet about their breakup before she tells him. Yeah, it sounds like he dodged a fucking bullet. If he's a private person, he should find someone who respects that he wants to be private. It is fine to be... It's just the disrespect. It's fine if she doesn't want to be private with her life, okay. Some people don't, you know, but you should always respect the lives of the people around you. And if your most important of those are your children and your partner. She doesn't have kids, I know right now, but I'm thinking like family vloggers and stuff. If you want to talk about your life, that's fine. But your children, you should keep their lives private. And your partner, if they don't want to be public. If your partner wants to be a private person, you respect that. This is crazy. Talk about self-absorbed. And it's not just self-absorbed, but it's so self-absorbed that she doesn't even realise how this is going to come across to people. It's so disrespectful and so living for an audience that you don't see a problem with that. You don't see a problem with your partner, who is a private person, not wanting to be public, talking about all the reasons why you're breaking up with him and why it's not working out, and get ready with me to break up with him. I hope he watched this and thought, thank fucking God.
I'm very extroverted. I love talking and having fun, and I'm done pretending to be someone that I'm not.
I'm done pretending to be someone that I'm not, or something that I'm not. Now, okay, well, I was going to say this could be like, you know, maybe he has been like clipping her wings in the past or whatever, but it doesn't sound like that, because she said there's no problems and that he's a really great guy and whatever, so I don't think that's the problem. But so I have a problem with like, there's some times where someone's saying, you know, saying like I'm done pretending to be something that I'm not, this statement can either be like powerful and healthy or an excuse to do bad things, depending on the context and like who's using it. I'm not saying that that statement in and of itself is bad. I'm done pretending to be something I'm not. That can be helpful. But so often I see people use like spiritual speak or therapy speak or like validation speak or girl boss speak as a justification to just do something shitty and then like rebrand it. And I've talked about this many times in the past in many videos. The one that I've talked about that the most in has been the video on cheating Chelsea and how she like co-opts that kind of language to just be terrible. But even that, like, I'm done pretending to be something that I'm not. Like, okay, you know, that makes sense to some degree, but in this context of like, I'm done pretending to be something that I'm not. So here I am being not private with my partner's information online. That's not girl boss. That's just kind of been a shitty partner. It's kind of bit like, it's really obnoxious. Rebranding that as like, this is me, just to be selfish, as an excuse to be selfish. That happens way too much nowadays, especially on social media. This is people step back, take your relationships away from social media, please.
And I'm done pretending to be someone that I'm not. And I also know I am most definitely not the only person out there who's going through a situation like this and holding on to something that is slowly killing them. I'm
slowly killing them. You're her ex-boyfriend, you're watching this, and she's describing it as this relationship, that you're a great guy and, you know, you're great and there's no problems, but it's slowly killing her. Again, the wording of she's saying is not necessarily bad in and of itself. Some of it is, but like, you can say that to your mum, to your friends, you know, before if you've broken up with someone and, you know, you can tell your mum that. Be like, oh, it's killing me being in this relationship. That's fine. No one hears. It's not disrespectful to your partner. That's to your nearest and dearest who can help you cope with your feelings, or your therapist. You don't tell an audience that. That's so horrible to him. Slowly killing. And what, his probably friends and family are seeing that as well. Do you not like think that it's just that you're publicly humiliating your partner? Is that not a breach of trust? How are you expecting to find a deep love in the future? Someone who's going to respect you and take care of you, and you're going to take care of them, and, you know, trust each other and share each other's like secrets and be there for them and not betray them when you are untrustworthy, when you cannot hold, like, you want that deep love. You're living in a 6-year-old's fairy tale fantasy right now, because anyone who's capable of that level of trust, I think, is probably going to see something like this and run the other way, because you are demonstrating that you are a girl who's not got that skill of holding trust. You can't just think a Prince Charming is going to walk into your life. If you want your dream man, you have to become his dream woman. The guy that you're thinking of, if everything, well, whatever he happens to be, imagine what kind of girl he'd want, what kind of woman he'd want, all the qualities and traits. And I'm not talking like physically, I'm talking like the skills, the character traits, the, you know, relationship skills, the consideration, the care. Like, if you want someone who's that amazing, imagine how amazing a partner he will want, and you have to be that. And the same goes for men. It's not just like a woman. The same goes for men. You know, if you want the woman of your dreams, okay, then if she's that amazing, who's she gonna want? And I'm not talking superficial stuff here. I mean, yeah, that is important to some extent and it can help you in relationships. But I'm talking
doing what I feel is right.
I'm talking your character. I'm talking your relationship skills. Mature. If you want a deep, meaningful relationship with an adult, with someone who is going to respect you and trust you and all of these things, you cannot run around behaving like a child and being disrespectful, because you're not part of the puzzle then. You're not capable of building that relationship with someone. It requires you to have those skills as well, and work towards having that foundation of trust and care. And it's just crazy disrespectful. Killing me. It's killing me. The cut to the fixer spray as well. Why did you need that in? Okay.
I'm truly, in my heart of hearts, doing what I feel is right. I can't apologize for that. I am really sad, and it's going to be really hard to see him hurting, but I know in the long run, this will be for the best for both of us.
This is almost like satire. You know, I feel really bad, he's going to be really hurt, and I feel really bad for that. As you're applying lip gloss, do you see how much of a parody you appear to be? You're the mean girl in a movie. Like, that's out of touch is the only thing in my mind that's going out of touch, out of touch. I worry for the youth. I am really sad, and it's going to be really hard to see him hurting, but, like, I know in the long run this is going to be for the best for both of us. Applying lip gloss. Are you sad to see him hurting? Because you're applying fucking lip gloss glibly as you're talking about that. She's coming across, and I don't know, maybe she's not like this, and, like, you know, maybe this is just one aspect of her bad video which she's really not thinking through, but how she's coming across in this video, and again, this is not enough information to make like a full character judgment, although I think it does tell us some things about her character. But how she's come across in this video as like the most superficial, shallow young girl who's immature, like a 15-year-old levels of maturity, shallow, self-absorbed, superficial, callous, uncaring, inconsiderate.
But I know in the long run, this will be for the best for both of us. And I already feel like a part of me that's been missing for so long is coming back. I have no idea what the future has in store. I am optimistic. I'm so proud of myself for sticking to my gut and finally having the courage to follow through. I'm just gonna get in there, do it, probably hug forever, and then...
I'm so proud of myself, she says. Okay, you can be proud of yourself if you do a hard thing, I guess, and have a hard conversation. That's fair. But again, it's just everything is oriented towards how great she is. It's like you're actively doing something that's really shit to your partner, but she's still like, oh, I'm proud of myself. I don't know, I wouldn't be proud of this video. I'd be ashamed, really ashamed.
That'll be it. Don't cry now, you've done so good. I'll keep you guys posted. Wish me luck. It's gonna be really difficult. Bye.
People need to start thinking about other people more, really, like, honestly, truly. Yeah, the comments are not nice to her. Some of them are. People are saying, one of the comments says, why are people judging? She clearly tried and gave it a chance. She clearly loved him, and she's liked that comment. Now, what I will say is, that's irrelevant. The ins and outs of their relationship, I think people aren't even bothered about that. It's about how she's treating him now. It's about the video she's made. You're allowed to break up with him. People, and also, if you share your personal business on the internet, people are going to judge, and you can't ask them not to. That's going to happen. Why are you posting on TikTok then? But saying she clearly tried and gave it a chance. I don't think people are upset that you're not giving him a chance. I think people are upset at how much you're disrespecting him right now. Someone said, telling the whole of TikTok before telling him just feels so disrespectful to me. I don't know. And she said, totally fair. The creator said, totally fair. Just to clarify, we had the hard talk weeks before I posted this. That's not the point, though. You still filmed this for a camera and then decided to still post it. It's still disrespectful. Someone commented saying, for 2 years, you knew you didn't want to be with him for 2 years. Girl, this is foul. And then someone else replied saying, it can take years. I just broke up with my boyfriend of 6 years a couple days ago, and I've kind of known for years, but I still hold out hope. It wasn't bad all the time, so I kept trying. Don't judge what you don't understand. People are allowed to judge if you post it online on TikTok, that's the point. But also, I don't even think that's the problem. It's like the fact she's telling everyone. She's talking, this is like a level, she's telling the world. When he's private, a private person as well. It's just a gross thing to film. Get ready with me to break up my boyfriend. As you're putting makeup on, it's not even a talk about like, here's why I want to break up my boyfriend. It's the superficiality of it all. It's the glibness. It's like, oh, like, get ready with me, like it's a fun event. Get ready with me to break up my boyfriend. And also, yeah, I think it is kind of bad that she knew for 2 years and didn't break up with him. I think that's really unfair. Don't judge what you don't understand. I only broke up with my boyfriend in 6 years, but I kind of knew for years. Yeah, well then I think you also fucked up. I think you did him wrong. I think you were stringing him along. Another comment saying, we need to normalise walking away from a relationship when you're not happy in it, and not only if there is cheating or abuse involved. You deserve to be happy. She's liked that comment. That's fine. No one has a problem with her ending a relationship that wasn't working. People have a problem with her doing a get ready with me to break up with my boyfriend and posting all her dirty laundry online. Anyway, there was a follow-up.
I just did the thing.
Okay, this has got to be like a social media addiction because, I mean, firstly, starting a video where you've broken up with a partner of 4 years with, I just did the thing, like a quirky millennial is a choice. But she's set up he's just left. They've just broken up. And she's put, like, in watching him drive away. So he's gone and you have no time to This is the problem. People need to stop processing their emotions online for an audience because how do you know how you truly feel? Yeah, you've talked to him for hours and broken up with him. The moment he drives away, you are not giving yourself the space and time to think in private, in solitude, and absorb what just happened. That's a big deal. It's emotional. It's trauma. Put the camera down. Think. Sit and absorb it. Absorb how you're feeling. It's just immediately a camera. Did you even call your mum first or your friends first? Because that's what probably what I would do if I wasn't going to sit and absorb the feelings. No, it doesn't seem to be because she's watching him drive away. So first instinct, rather than calling a loved one to like de-stress, to talk about it with, rather than sitting and thinking, first instinct is to set up the camera, to film your life. People need to realise that they are not the main character of your life is not a movie. Some things should be kept sacred, and I will die on that hill.
I can't believe I did the thing. That was the hardest goodbye I've ever had to do. I've been bawling for the last 3 hours, so I'm kind of just like numb. We literally hugged for the last 3 hours. And then we decided sitting here is not gonna make any of this easier. We hugged. That's the last time I'm ever gonna see him again. Well, that got me. That got me. He said that to me. He's like, you sure you want this to be the last time we ever see each other again? Straight up.
Even emotions afterwards have to be like regurgitated and told to an audience. Like, he said this, and then I was like, well, there's a degree of that that's normal and natural, and there's nothing wrong with recounting an experience, but this is so intrusive. This level of like everything is for the camera. I mean, I'm surprised you didn't film the breakup. Poor guy. I'm sorry, that's all I see. I just see someone who's putting their personal business online for validation, for attention, emotional attention and validation, and to be told, you know, that, oh, boo-hoo, poor you. For validation, this sucks for me. Yeah, but you kind of lose sympathy when it's like, I don't know, you're kind of the bad guy in this. Not necessarily in the relationship, I don't know about that, but in like this afterwards. It's like, why is everything content? It's so disrespectful to the people in your lives when you make them content. Especially when they don't want to be, especially really important moments like this. It's why I find family vlogging so objectionable in a lot of cases. Your children, most sacred, you know, that should be the most sacred relationship, and you should protect them and all of these things, and you make your children content rather than like meaning and life and your legacy. It's no, my children are content. There's something really disrespectful about that. Same with this. It's like you've made this moment, this heartbreak, content. Your heartbreak and his heartbreak. It's content. What is it doing to our view of human relationships and how we interact with each other and our relationship skills? Not good things.
We were gonna have a nice dinner. Sat down, started eating. I couldn't keep it together. I felt like I was gonna throw up. Started bawling. He realized, oh, this is something different. Not just, I miss you because I moved back home, you know? He cried. I spilled, or tried to. I wrote like a whole note I ended up giving him because I was not articulating very well. Literally the last 4 years I spent with him flashed through my head, and I just completely lost it. I still do think that this is for the best for the both of us, but that doesn't make it hurt any less. I loved that man. I don't think the emotions have hit. They probably will on my drive home, because I'm about to turn on some Noah Khan, some sad music. He took it so well. The way that he handled it made it even harder to like follow through and do. There was a point when I was like, do I want this? But like I have been telling myself that I want this. I could not go back now. I need peace. I need clarity. And I think this is the start of a very exciting new chapter where I find myself, begin my healing process. It's gonna be a lot of emotions, lots of pain, lots of sadness, but I feel like this might just be the start of something very beautiful. So, yeah. I opened my fortune cookie because we went to Panda Express. It reads, take the risk you've been considering.
Yeah. I'm sure she's not wrong either. That is probably, the start of your healing journey, the start of a new life. If a relationship's not good for you, ending it can be painful, but also be a good thing. But to just say it online, like, as he's driven away, to be like, now this is the start of my new life and my healing. It's so callous, man, like.
I saw it coming, I still... Copyrighted music, but sad breakup song over this video of her crying, filming herself crying, driving home crying.
So the caption of this video is, okay, but why does no one ever prepare you for the car ride home with a crying face and a broken heart? She's filming herself driving home still crying. Does she ever stop filming? Does she ever stop filming herself? But it's also this, like, I don't know how else to say it, except, like, sometimes fetishization of, like, sadness and extreme emotion. Do you know what I mean? This is why it creates doubt in my mind as to how real the emotion is and where the line between genuine emotion and performance starts. And I'm not, like, saying that this is all fake or anything. I think a lot of this is, genuine heartbreak. But my point is, I think sometimes she doesn't even know where the line between a real emotion and a performance is. Because she's filmed herself crying as she's driving home, sobbing. She's uploaded TikTok. She's edited it with sad music behind. So even your deepest emotions are content. Even your deepest emotion becomes, you're thinking, oh, the soundtrack's going to be this. It's like a fetishization, if that makes sense, of like, it's like the classic thing we all did when we were kids. You listen to a sad song and it's raining and you're in a music video. You pretend you're in a music video. That's how this feels. She's even put a soundtrack to it. But we grow out of that at a certain point. It's like, it makes your emotions seem shallow and questionable, and how real are they? And do you even know? Because you're performing them. It becomes accident, on purpose or not, because it's become a performance for an audience to consume. It's become content.
Come away, O human child, to the waters and the wild, with a fairy hand in hand, for the world's more full of weeping than you can understand.
We must not look at goblin men, we must not buy their fruits. Who knows upon what soil they fed their hungry, thirsty roots?
Morning and evening maids heard the goblins cry. Come buy our orchard fruits, come buy, taste them and try. Currants and gooseberries, bright fire like barberries, figs to fill your mouth, citrons from the south, sweet to tongue and sound to eye. Come buy, come buy. Come away, O human child, to the waters and the wild, with a fairy hand in hand, for the world's more full of weeping than you can understand.
Okay, so in editing this video, I checked out more about this girl's page, and some of what I found out some more information basically that kind of just confirmed some of what, in my mind, I was saying earlier. So I kind of said that she felt like she had quite a childish view on love, kind of waiting for a Disney prince to come along and stuff. And also that she wildly overshares just everything about her life. I genuinely do worry for younger people, this becoming the norm.
Tomorrow I'm flying halfway across the world for potential love, which sounds absolutely insane, I know, but hear me out. This isn't just any boy we're talking about here. This is Brayden. Literally gives me butterflies every time I say his name. And the story behind how we met is wild. So let's talk about it.
But she talks about, I think she's in a relationship with someone else who she's, flying across the world to see. But just the way she talks about it, and I understand, and like I said, I actually am a romantic at heart. I know in these videos I sound really cynical, but that's just because, I think the internet and just people being silly is making me really cynical. I'm actually not cynical at heart, though. I'm really not. But just, I understand when people, meet someone new and it's all exciting. You can sound kind of giddy and young and excited, but it just strikes me it does come across as slightly immature and quite young, particularly when, as we'll go to find out, she met this guy when she was in a relationship with, I don't understand the lack of self-awareness. Why would you put all this stuff on the internet when you know you're going to be perceived really badly, and when you know you've already had backlash for the way you broke up with your boyfriend? Then you admit that the new guy you're seeing, you met him while you were still with your boyfriend, and you talk about this amazing connection and everything, and it's the fact that it still took you a while after that to break up with your boyfriend, and then you're seeing this other guy, and it's just messy and quite childish, but also really unfair on your ex-boyfriend. And he has to see this. This is the thing, if she kept this offline, no one would know. Do people sometimes mess up in relationships, or I guess, have a connection with someone else while they're still with someone? Yes, and is that a good thing? Not necessarily, but sometimes things can be a bit complicated or whatever. I mean, I'm not condoning cheating or anything, but as in you're at the end of a stale relationship and then maybe you do meet the one. It's possible that you could have that. And then you realize you're in the wrong relationship or whatever. But it's just with sharing everything online, you just, not only do you open the door for everyone to criticize your personal life, but you're also just being really unfair on the people in your life. This is extra hard for your ex-boyfriend, or for it's embarrassing for him. It's it's really unfair that you broke up with him, and then months later it's oh, hang on, she went on this trip and met this guy. Basically, the context for this is this is her cousin's friend that she met one night, and she was thinking about it so much, and they had this amazing connection and they had so much fun together, and she remembers it so well, and it was all romantic and everything, and then when she had to leave, she was crying on the plane home.
But I still, to this day, will not forget the moment I locked eyes with this man, because something changed that day. It was crazy. They had a really nice beach area. They had a cute little campfire going. They're playing games. The ocean was right there. Everything just felt so right in the world at that moment in time. Hands down, one of the best nights of my life. And I would be lying if I said I don't replay it in my head, all the time. But there's a catch. Brayden and I at this time were both in long-term relationships, and we expressed this to each other. This was not some like hidden news. There was no shadiness, no cheating. Don't come for me. It was all in the conversations that we had. At first we were both shy, and then once we got started talking, we couldn't stop. I felt like I could talk to him forever. We just clicked so easily. I was like, holy crap, I could get used to that. And he had such a lasting impact on me. Like, I knew I would never forget him. We had one more amazing night like that. The next night, we did a late night ocean swim, which was so much fun. As a group, get your head out of the gutter, John B. And then it was time for me to go home, and when I tell you I cried all the way home, I am not kidding. I was a wreck. This was me. Because I truly thought we would just be strangers with some really, really good memories.
Now, I don't know about you, but I can tell you how I would feel if my partner, even if they weren't physically cheating, if my partner went on like a trip somewhere for a few days, bear in mind, a few days, and met this other girl who he had an amazing connection with supposedly, and all of this, and he had such a great connection with her and couldn't stop thinking about it, that when he left the trip, he was crying. Like, I want people to think about that with their part. Like, how would you feel? That's so shady. And then to talk about it in a video. So that's kind of slightly outrageous, and also adds more context to her deciding suddenly to break up this 4-year relationship, which makes her look even worse. You didn't break up this relationship. Sorry, I know this isn't, her personal choices are not really what the video is about. It's more about just like putting your whole life online, but that part does annoy me. It takes you 2 whole years. You're a 4-year relationship. You know for 2 years that it's not going to work out, but you're just so comfortable and happy stringing him along that you keep him there up until when you think you've got a better offer and you meet someone else, and then you go, yeah, now I'll leave him. Like, I'm sorry, that's so deeply selfish. And again, no one would be able to comment on this. Everyone does selfish things sometimes, but the fact that, you know, people are able to comment on this because you're putting your whole life online and embarrassing your ex-boyfriend. But not only that, this isn't why I decided to talk about this new relationship she has. I mean, first of all, I think it's more evidence of the fact that she kind of sees her life like a movie. Like all this, I'm sorry, I think she's too, this is just my personal opinion, but she's coming across as too immature to make like a real long-term relationship work out and not just be, you know, and I kind of question him, this guy she's seeing, and the fact he's kind of okay with going out with someone who's got so little integrity. They kind of dragged their ex for no reason online, but okay. So there's that, but seeing your life like a movie, like, oh my God, this new, great new fun thing, she's coming across as quite young. Like teenager, it's like a teenage girl, which is fine if you're at that stage, but she's beyond that. Whatever, I'll let that go. But it's how, again, the filming of everything. I think when you film yourself and you're putting yourself online for an audience, you do start to see yourself that way. And there's like a disconnect with reality here, and it's just very like in a movie land or fairy tale land is how it's coming across to me.
Everything about me and Brayden's story literally feels like a movie, just like the way that we met, and now the story continues. I'm going to see him in Japan. None of it feels real, and it's so much bigger than both of us, but I am so here for it. I cannot wait to see how the plot ends up. So fast forward now to weeks after my breakup, which happened in May, I get a message from none other than Brayden himself. What? He heard about my breakup because I shared it online and just wanted to check in and see how I was doing. Let me know that he also very recently just got out of a breakup. And yeah, we've been talking ever since, been FaceTiming, still cannot shut up when we're talking to each other. It doesn't feel new at all. It feels familiar, just comfortable and right, if I'm being honest. Like my missing puzzle piece. So yes, call me Delulu. I can take it. I am flying tomorrow to Japan to stay with him for 2 weeks, and we're gonna be testing if that weekend was just magic or the beginning of our soulmate story. I'm really out here living my Love Island dream, aren't I? Will she come back with potential love or empty-handed? Guess the world will find out. I'm gonna be bringing you guys along for all of it. I can't wait, and I'm also freaking out, so.
I also think, like, and this is more evidence of the fact that I am actually a true romantic at heart. I think it just takes some of the like actual magic out of it. When, you know, like she says, is this the beginning of my soulmate story? You know, which is quite intense for someone that you've not seen in ages, and, you know, maybe a bit much for a first date. But whatever, like, it can happen. Sometimes people say when you know, although some people think they know and really don't because they're reckless and immature. But sometimes it does work out and people really do know, you know. But even in those circumstances, just talking to a camera, like, oh, this is such a good story, like how we met as a movie, and I can't wait to see how the plot turns out, and is this the beginning of my soulmate story? Sharing that with an audience before anything's even happened, before, like, and then saying, oh, I'll be taking you all along with me. How do you even know in your own mind? This is a genuine question, like, truly, how do you know in your own mind, because the human mind can play tricks on you, that you're not
really invested in this man and this relationship because you're invested in him, because you really like him, because you have all these genuine feelings. And how do you know that it's not just the excitement of like, oh, I have to film and taking you all along with me. Oh my God, this is so exciting, guys. Like, how do you know for you when your feelings, like I said, are so for everyone else and so performance? And sometimes, like, this is going to sound really harsh, but sometimes I wonder if these people who make videos like this have an internal monologue. That sounds so mean. I just don't understand. And I know she's young. I mean, I think, in my opinion, I think the behaviour is from like an age a lot younger than she is, but she's still young, but like early mid-20s or whatever. But it's more like it's more like a young teenager. I'm sorry. Like, I wish people could be a bit more grounded sometimes. And I think you do ruin the magic. Like, I'm not saying the beginning of a new relationship isn't romantic and giddy and all these things, but when you're doing it for an audience, how romantic is it really? But the biggest thing that I want to share, so she even films like meeting this guy again, I guess for the first time in ages, because he's like, it's like long distance. So for the first time, I guess, the what I got from this, it's the first time she's seen him since they like met that one time when they were still in relationships. Shady as hell, both of them. But she films it. She like every moment. I'm going to show you this clip. She does like a lip sync to this song. I don't know what song it is. I don't care. A day before seeing him again for the first time. It's not for the first time, but you know what I mean? The first time when they're like romantically involved, I guess. A day before seeing him. You know, however many, 13 hours before seeing him, an hour before seeing him, half an hour before seeing him, you know, whatever. I guess that's a thing. I think it's kind of corny, but you know, each to their own. But the part that gets me about that isn't that bit. It's that she then puts the camera down. She goes, it's happening right now. As she's got a phone in her hand. It's happening right now, guys. Then put your phone down. You're talking about this guy who you're like, oh my God, he's amazing. He's like, she's talking about him like he's the one. And then you're seeing him, and she's got us there, the audience. We're there with her. Like, the spectators, we are there with her, with phone in her hand. She's like, oh my God, it's happening right now. And then she's got to put the phone on a tripod, make sure they're in shot as she hugs him for the first time. That, to me, is crazy. I cannot fathom where this world is going, and people who have this social media thing where this is what I'm talking about, where everything has got to be lived for an audience. Everything has got to be shared. Everything's got to be seen. Is anything sacred? Do you know then how you really feel about stuff? Is anything for you? Like, is your whole life a performance? That's what's sad about this. It's like, are we losing like human connection, and your life has become a performance for an audience? The fact that you can't even meet a guy who you're talking about like he's the love of your life without bringing an audience along with you, without a camera in your hand, without a phone in your hand. Like, I think that's sad. I think it's sad. I think it is affecting like how people interact with relationships, because just how she talks about it is just, I'm sorry, but it is very childish, and it comes across as just a bit like careless, and also it's like waiting for, you know, the perfect guy to come along, and it's just, and I'm not saying that doesn't happen and people don't fall in love, and of course not, but there just seems to be a little bit of a disconnect with the reality in terms of like, you can't act like really immature and careless about people and still expect that everything's gonna be perfect and it's a fairy tale. I mean, is it now? Of course, everything's a fairy tale in the early stages of a relationship, but like if you're just really immature and you don't have relationship skills and you're kind of treating people callously, I don't know, how's it going to work long term? Maybe fine, you know. I just don't know what, I feel too old for this. I feel like I'm 50, 55 watching people just a few years younger than me and how they interact with the internet. It's making me feel so old and so like I don't understand this, but I think it's just so silly to live your whole life. I think it's really sad. Honestly, that's the only thing I can say. I think it's really sad, and also pretty disrespectful for her to make this video after she's already broken up with her ex, but then for the public to be like, oh, and by the way, I kind of like liked this other guy while I was with him and cried when I had to say goodbye to him and stuff. Decorum. Do people not have a sense of dignity and decorum and like not embarrassing yourself and others on the internet? Maybe we should get back to that. Maybe we should get back to that a little bit, you know? Not everything is for public consumption. Also, what I just realised is this doesn't even seem to be true, because her hair, she says 10 minutes before it happens or whatever, and her hair's really curly and she's wearing different earrings and a different top to what she's wearing when she meets him. I mean, she still films meeting him or whatever, but either it's a lie and it's totally inauthentic and she's filming it all afterwards to piece together this part of her life, or I don't know which is worse. I think they're both, it's like, it seems to be probably a mixture of both, you know, filming her real life and then also kind of shoehorning stuff in later to make the story better, which actually I think that's kind of worse, because it's inauthentic, but also not only is it inauthentic, but then you're making your life even more detached from reality and even more out of touch. Like, how do you then start to know as well what's real and what's not? So I suppose to conclude this video, I think it is a worry or a kind of problem societally and, well, just in terms of relationships, when it becomes so normal for people to, I mean, to be fair, this has received quite a lot of backlash because a lot of people look at this and go, this is insane. But some people are at the point where that's normal, and give it, a few more years, how normal is oversharing stuff like that going to be? Like family vloggers at the moment are really normalised and that kind of thing. There's certain things now that are seen as acceptable, which I don't think should be acceptable. It shouldn't be acceptable to do a get ready with me to break up with my boyfriend. But not just that. It's not just about, like what's acceptable or not.
Just to clarify, just because I know I'm going to get these comments, and it really winds me up when people on the internet can't distinguish between me saying that I don't like something and don't think it's acceptable, and think that's the same as me saying I think it should be banned or censored. Obviously, I'm not arguing for that. I don't think it should be banned or censored, okay? Just to clarify, because some people don't understand that distinction. Maybe they're so totalitarian in their own minds that they can't understand that someone could express a dislike for something without wanting it banned. When I say I think it should be unacceptable, what I mean by that is like societally unacceptable, that it shouldn't become like a normal thing, that we shouldn't be like, oh, this is all good and normal. Like, I think it should be just, in our minds and like and in our reactions and, just societally, culturally seen as like an unacceptable thing. That's what I mean. But if people want to do it, they can. Go wild. Be crazy. But yeah, that's what I mean.
The reason I think it should be unacceptable is also because it affects human relationships, and it affects how you yourself engage in a relationship and how you engage with your emotions and yourself, more importantly. Because if you always have to see your emotions through the lens of, well, quite literally a lens, a camera lens, through the lens of how is an audience going to receive this? How do I look to an audience? How am I coming across? Not only are you unable to kind of deeply process your emotions in a deep way rather than a shallow way, a performative way, and you kind of blur the line in your own mind between performance and what's genuine, but also then how do you know who you are and what you really feel, and how are you able to, I think you lose something quite important in the human experience when you kind of make yourself a character to that extent. And like I said, there's levels to this that are more or less harmful. There's stuff that's fairly harmless and fine, and there's vloggers that, vlog their lives in a way that's not too intrusive. But when you're at the point of doing Get Ready With Me to break up with my boyfriend, while still talking in that video about wanting a deep love and what you deserve and a fairy tale kind of ending, it's just so bad for your own processing and understanding of how you're feeling and your humanity in a way, because you're then a fake person. You'll become this performance, I think, like I said. But I think also it ruins your relationship skills. Because everything necessarily has to become about you, about how you're feeling, how you're seeing things, your brand, your image, which is not how a relationship functions or works. To see yourself as the main character in a relationship is going to end that relationship really badly, because that's not how you deal with relationships. Perform your emotions and your life and document all your moments. Something should be private and sacred, because it becomes about something different. It becomes about the performance, and it becomes about how it's going to be received, rather than just the experience of it and the very real moment of you and someone else, which is all human relationships. And some moments should be kept private. Not just because, it's unbecoming to air your dirty laundry, although that is one argument, but just for your own well-being as well. There's a reason why. I think that didn't develop out of nowhere. The fact we have things that's oh, don't talk about that in public. It's not just because it's inappropriate. Some social kind of norms evolve for a reason. And the reason that it's kind of now seen as inappropriate is because it's not healthy or respectful or the best thing often to get other people involved in really personal stuff. Obviously with exceptions and, depending on the context, but stuff like this, it's making real life, real human moments just become about me, a performance of me. And it's sad. It's sad to see. And this is crazy that this girl posted this, honestly. And just crazy disrespectful to a partner for 4 years. But yeah, so I do worry sometimes about how people are engaging with social media. And I think social media can be a great thing. There's loads of positives to it. I just want to talk about that because though this may be an extreme example, it's not seen as abnormal for people to be sharing so much stuff about themselves or their personal relationships that maybe they shouldn't. Maybe not everything has to be shared. And especially, again, I'll probably do a separate video on that, on the partner shaming videos, where people will be with their partner and they're still with them, but they'll make a whole video about this is what he did, this is what my husband did, Isn't he terrible? Why would you do that to someone you've decided to stay with, unless you're leaving them, in which case it's still kind of a bit crazy, I think, unless they've done something like really out of order. Why would you do that to someone you're staying with? That's still your partner. To publicly blast them and bring the outside world, the audience, the internet into your life, into your relationship. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to this channel if you want to hear more chats on more topics. Subscribe to my second channel, which you can see from my background. My second channel involves more creative stuff, fairyland, that kind of thing. It's fun over there. Come along, subscribe here. And also, if you would like to check out my Patreon, feel free to check it out there to support the channel. We talk about lots of kinds of stuff there. So thank you everybody very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if there was anything in this video that you didn't like or agree with, that was Asis's idea, so please contact him directly with your complaints. Look after yourselves.